should probably turn this on. I was vibing. Welcome to Make It Make Sense, guys. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
You have Twitch?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I'm calling this season 2. So we're shaking things up a bit. It's just 2 of us tonight. And we hopefully you guys get your asses in them comments so we can have some live Q&As and answer some of you guys' questions when it comes to one, how we deal with our relationship, B, how to be more feminine or masculine. We need to move that camera.
That one?
Yeah, you want to do that while I'm talking?
Why?
Because I'm off to the side. What's up, Consuelo? Can you do that?
Which one?
My camera.
This one?
Yeah, just turn it towards me more. There we go. Keep going. Thank you. Perfect. He's perfect. Anyway, ooh, shit. About to burp. So yeah, we're just gonna go over some things, how to treat a lady, how to treat a man,
How to treat yourself.
things that are important, things we've noticed about our observations on other people, things we've seen and discussed and seen on this show, shit like that. So, without further ado, let's introduce ourselves. And we'll start with you, honey. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I am 32 years old, and I am a mother of 2 biological children and then 2 bonus children with this man across the table.
Allegedly.
It's always weird because the book that I was just reading, it's like everything that you name after like I am is like all like ego and shit. So I'm like, who am I? But yeah, I'm an astrologer. I'm a life coach. I love how you ask questions and then you go to your phone.
Now I have
We could
an
talk
actual
about
link.
that. We could talk about that. But yeah, I'm excited to be a part of season 2 and to rebrand. I think that it's important to always give yourself room to evolve because some things can serve you for however long and then there's an expiration date. I couldn't imagine like going viral for like, say that I did something like funny and then every time I got on camera I had to do something funny to like keep up with my brand. Yeah, so
Your funny brand?
Yeah, so I'm excited and I'm happy for you that you give yourself permission to grow and like you don't have to stay in like a box of your podcast and you just flow with whatever is working for you. So
What do you mean?
like the fact that this podcast started out as married poly single and then it was Make It Make Sense and you were working on having like the same host and then it was like alternating. And now you kind of just give yourself permission to go in whatever direction works for, I don't know, finding your niche or whatever works for you. But I would never want to be trapped in a box.
Well, for me, the show must go on.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. I'm Troy. This is my podcast, Make It Make Sense. I'm planning on making the woman across from me the permanent co-host. So it'll be our podcast of Make It Make Sense. What?
It's mine's now.
Oh, it's mine. You gentrified my podcast, just like a white woman. Anyway,
Stupid.
Yeah. I'm thinking of all new segments. Getting guests is really hard, but I'm going to make it a little bit more fun going forward. Trying to make the amount of male and females at the table the same. That way, we can have some battle of the sexes conversations, different segments on how we're going to go about things. and also just more male perspective than my own. Even though motherfuckers be lying, I've noticed that about people in general. We just lie all the time. It's like a social acceptance, you know. It's just to lie. But the whole point of this is for dating and relationships to get better, male and female dynamics to be understood by each other in order to get better, and for people to realize what relationships actually are, because it's more of a transactional thing than people want to admit to. So yeah, stop lying.
I think people find that word like, I don't know.
Offensive,
Yeah, like
triggering,
extending the truth, or like fabricating, or like exaggerating is like what they call it. But really, if you simplify it, it's just not being truthful, like lying.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, a lot of people lie to themselves.
I
It's a projection.
I think, yes, I think a lot of people do that. I think that's why we have such miscommunication in relationships overall, because throughout the timeline of a woman, you've been lied to from being a little girl until now by your parents, your peers, your friends, to yourself, men especially. So
Why do you think parents lied to girls?
because,
Like, what lies are they telling them?
well, I mean, I think it's human nature, to be perfectly honest, because in dealing with people as a man and as a woman, it's very clear that men and women think and handle things differently. Men are deductive problem solvers, and their job is to get things done. That's in their nature. They go hunt, they go build, and they provide, and that's what they do. And they don't, I mean, on the larger scale, don't panic in times of chaos and handle shit. At least that's what they're supposed to do. With women, they're much more involved with people and group things, and they're emotional and empathetic. So
But so
well,
like people
well,
water it down so that a woman can handle it, or what?
well, that's just the easiest way to. That's the easiest way to deal with that conversation. And you can't have a logical conversation with somebody who's emotional, male or female. Mm-hmm. So take, for example, an emotional male who is arguing with a logical male. It's like the Jay-Z line, don't argue with fools because people from a distance can't tell who is who. But I mean, if you're paying attention, you really can. If somebody is stoic, holding his frame, calmly speaking to somebody, while somebody is outraged, you can see who's in more control of this conversation.
Yeah, when emotions are high, logic is low.
Exactly. So those are the situations. Just when chaos erupts, who is typically calmer? Men. So we know that. So we do that to our children, and we also know that women are not as physically strong and could be physically taken advantage of. So men and parents lie to women to tell them this is what a man is supposed to do. This is what you are. You're a princess. You're a queen. You're the prettiest girl ever, because those are things that get action from women, even little girls. You know what I mean? You're supposed to say nice things to men, but even little boys. But you're also harder on little boys. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different lifestyle from male and female. I mean, just look at Harvey and Olivia. Anytime Olivia screams at the top of her lungs, we jump down Harvey's throat and assume that he did something bad. But I know you've seen those videos of the teenage boy and girl, and she's messing with him, And then he just like pushes her hand off and she's like, stop, and like screams at the top of her lungs. Parents from a distance who aren't watching jump down his throat because you're not supposed to do those things to girls, right?
Yeah.
So she's lying to herself there. Parents are lying to her, and you know, so you grow up being lied to, and then you also understand social cues and social settings, so you lie to other people when you're what I've noticed, especially doing this podcast with the guests we've had, with any of my other interactions with women, it's very difficult to get a yes or no answer out of a woman. Mm-hmm. It's never yes or no. There's always a but or it depends.
It's based on what they feel, not like the answer.
Exactly. So that's why girls are lied to and boys aren't. And then as it continues, girls continue to lie to each other, just left to nature. It doesn't have anything to do with anything other than reading body language and cues and attitude and actions. You know what I mean? You can say A, B, C, D to a boy, then you'll get the same kind of reactions majority of the time. You can say A, B, C, D to a girl, and you'll get majority of the same reactions majority of the time. Mm-hmm. So then they get into teenage and adult years, and boys are lying to them because they've understood that telling a woman, if men told women what they want, what men actually want from her, 99% of men are never going to get what they want from the woman. It's just because we have a goal. It is the most important goal, despite what men are going to say. And the reason, I mean, that's why we're lying to each other, because even men understand, like, I can't say that. So even if he says that for me, I'm still going to disagree with him, which is, I want sex. Period. Point blank, period. There is no other reason for men to be talking. If she didn't have a vagina, we wouldn't talk to her, because we don't have shit in common.
So it's like a biology thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's nature.
Yeah.
They want sex. That is how a man is validated. Okay? That means he's desired, he's respected, he's wanted. Okay? So he has to do all this work in order to get sex. And then she validates it. From there, she validates herself to him for the commitment that she wants. You see what I'm saying? So although men can actually like women, actually be interested in what they have to say, be interested in who they are as a person, majority of that matters most after sex is acquired. Because there's been plenty of times, not just for me, but for most men out here, or not most men, because most men aren't getting sex from women, but men who actually can acquire sex from women. What's the word I'm looking for? I lost my train of thought. Men who can acquire sex from women may actually like them until they get it and then realize, like, no, I don't particularly like you that much. And that's what post-nut clarity is.
Yeah.
I mean...
Some men are just more physical.
At first, for sure.
Yeah.
From the beginning, yes. I mean, even in the relationship. Just like I was reading earlier on that thing, which is... in a relationship, if you're in a healthy, committed relationship, a husband or wife, like, sex to him is his vulnerability. That is how he is, again, is validated by you. So when you don't want to do it, he doesn't feel loved, but you want him to tell you that he loves you, tell you that you're pretty, tell you all those things. It's not always physical with you. You want to hear it. You want the actions to be behind it.
So just like you say that women should wait for like, do you agree women should wait for marriage then? Or like keep their body count small?
Absolutely.
So
I mean, that's your best option on getting the man that you want. Right.
So then if you think about a man, especially from the age of like, puberty, let's just say like 15 to 25, do you think that he should be racking up his body count, or he should be putting his head down, and then once he has the like equity to then go forth and physically encounter or acquire whatever women, even if it's just on a sexual basis, then like you're saying, like being physical with a woman is like your vulnerability after the next time. Like you're saying after the post-nut clarity, especially if it's like with a wife or a girlfriend or someone that's special to them. Or you're saying that the vulnerability is from jump. Like that's the way you're vulnerable with even just women that are just putting out for you.
No. That's the vulnerability a man has in a relationship when he is committed. Is how that's where his validation comes from. That's how he connects with you, is by being needed, being wanted, being desired.
So do you think that
when he's with you,
because women should, like in your eyes, should be,
my eyes,
from a male's perspective, from a father's perspective, teaching their daughter, or mothers teaching their daughters, should be sexually disciplined on who they let inside their body?
Women?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
but from men, from like the age of like, that's what I'm saying, like 15 to 25, usually in those years, they don't have the things that you're talking about as far as being like a quote unquote high value man. Mm-hmm. But say that they're just attractive. Do you think that they should be like racking up their body count and just like having sex with whoever, wherever, however, and like it doesn't matter?
Yes, because that's how you gain experience with women. A woman doesn't want an inexperienced man. You don't want a virgin. If you were a virgin, you wouldn't want a virgin.
Yeah, but
you wouldn't want your man to have a lower body count.
I guess I'm saying the things that you've said on the podcast and the things that I've heard other men say is like, you know, once you have the credibility, like you can take care of said women that you're sleeping with, or like you have this like exchange, because you're saying that there are aspects that are transactional, right?
Well, I mean, the whole relationship is transactional.
Right.
That's like what you want from a man. If he can give you those things, what is he getting from you?
But I'm saying 15 to 25, that man can't give you any of those things.
Not all the time. I mean, there's exceptions, of course, but yeah, majority of men don't.
Majority, they're not going to be able to give you shit besides
absolutely. But
video games, Netflix and chill.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, even some of those young men who are on their way to college playing sports, and those are high value men at that age. You know what I mean? Because status is also attractive to women.
Yeah.
So even though you can't financially really do anything, you have status. So the girl dating the star quarterback is always the most popular girl, regardless of a girl who's prettier than her. If he's not with, you know what I mean? You could be the head cheerleader, but you're not with the star quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's going places.
Yeah.
She's going with him. You see? So,
I think when you say, because I know that there's been people in the comments, like when we've talked about it, they're like talking about like thinking that our relationship is transactional. And I think when people hear the word transactional, they think that there is like no emotions involved, like no love, no choice. It's just like each other serving a purpose, like a biological purpose, and that's it.
I mean, if people really dove into what a relationship is, it's a fucking duty. A commitment is a duty. And the things that are wanted from each person is what makes it transactional. This fairy tale Hallmark movie, I love this person because we're so connected and all that shit doesn't exist.
So you think that's where they got it? Is from movies?
Yeah, they, of course.
Books?
Disney movies to everything. And then, I mean, they ignore the transactional part of the Disney movie and the Hallmark movies. You know what I mean? Like the silly reels where the big city girl goes into the country and meets the farm. I mean, that's a fucking man that she's attracted to, who is lifting hay and working in the yard and all these other things. Like, you know what I mean?
Hay.
Even though, I'm just saying, even though he may not have tons of finances, this motherfucker's got land and he can fix and build. Like, that's an attractive trait. Right. And those are things that he's capable of, which makes her attracted to him. And those are things that she wants in a partner. The money situation is just for the simple fact that it's guaranteed comfort. So a woman can release any worries if that man is financially stable.
Do you think that women are upholding the bargain of giving men comfort in return for that comfort?
Not all the time, because they don't see it as a duty. They see it as, I'm the prize, I'm the most important person here, and it's a very selfish outlook that women have on life and relationships, because women, everything you say to a woman is never critically thought about. It's typically relayed to their personal experiences, and you've seen that on the show.
Where do you think that this notion got fucked up? Like,
It's always been that way.
it's always been fucked up?
Well, I mean, it's
Do you think that it just got
feminism
so severe?
fucked everything up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even and that's the whole.
I mean, I feel like there's like a spectrum of good
reason.
and bad, even when it was more biologically based, or when it was more like when women couldn't work. There was a fucked up side to it that people rebelled against, you know, like whether they were getting beat or like, you know, not getting anything from the relationship besides being a homemaker or whatever. And so I like you were saying, like, feminism is the people who like rose to the top.
But even then, that's another reason why women are lied to by their parents, because women are easier to manipulate and sell to.
Women are easier to manipulate?
Yeah, women are better at manipulating men for what they want from said man, because they have the most important thing that men want. But women are easier to sell to. So selling an idea of all these things is why feminism was so popular. Like, you can go sleep with whoever you want. You can go work too. You can go build and do all these other things. And it's like, hooray, let's do it. But when it was just nature, when it was men had to go out and hunt food and gather and all these other things, come back and build and all that other stuff, women were like, I don't want to do that shit. That's your job. You go do it. But as soon as you were able to go get a job in an air-conditioned building and put on a power business suit, it's like, oh, I'm ready to go work now. But that wasn't on women's minds for the most part. But that was the sell, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so that's what fucked it up. What was the other question you asked?
I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to, because there's been parts of going from being hyper masculine because I felt like I had to be, or that's what I learned, into now feeling like I can be safe in my feminine. And like, I wish that there was like a way to relay to other women who are like hyperly, like over masculine, that like it's greener on the side that you water it, and like it's worth watering the feminine side. Like, it's worth it to, I don't know, unlearn or reprogram. Because I know that on that side, because it's funny, because it was just daylight savings time, and people are like, oh, hopefully we like roll the clocks back to when
women didn't have to work.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Women don't have to. The problem is social media and access to.
But there are people who have put themselves in position to now that they have to, where they're like a single mom, or like they have to provide because of whatever circumstance. And I'm just saying, like, I wish that there was a way to like, and I mean, I feel like that's your whole thing with this podcast, is helping people like learn, but people see it as like cancel this, or like cringe, or like take the microphones away from, you know, people that are putting out this content. But it's like, why aren't there more women lining up to like lean into their feminine? I mean, I get it. If I was in the dating scene now, I'm sure it would be like tough. Like you say, like there's only like such a percentage of men that can provide for a woman, or can provide that safety, or, you know, the transaction of like, you nurture, I nature, you know, like whatever that looks like. I guess I'm just like, okay, so how do we get that? Because I know I've seen women on the show who just get like immediately defensive, like, no, like I have to do this, I love my job, and, you know, men ain't shit.
Yeah, and I just want to hit him with
shut up, bitch.
And like, I mean, obviously like there's trauma behind that, but what's that song? It's like, His Mistakes by Usher. It's like so many men are being punished from the fuckboy's mistakes. And so it's like, I don't think there's accountability of like, why did you attract that fuckboy? And then you have this, like, say you have a laundry list of like 10 dudes who have done the same thing to you. And it's like, but it's their fault. But it's like, why do you, open the door to that? And then it's like, well, men ain't shit and I have to be in my masculine instead of like, let me do my inner work and lean into my feminine so that I can attract because like I've said on the podcast before, like when there's two feminines, it's going to be platonic. When it's two masculines, it's going to be platonic. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you're the masculine woman, you're going to attract a feminine man who really is just like, okay, maybe he's quote unquote emotionally intelligent, but I mean, emotionally intelligent, what are we talking about? Like,
I don't think most women know what emotional intelligence is, but...
Are you done?
Yeah. I guess I'm just wondering, like, your overall advice, because I know that people come with questions, and sometimes people have a question, but they can't hear the answer because of their own emotions. And I think that's the whole thing with, like, emotional intelligence is, like, you just asked a tough question that has something that might trigger you, and now because you're triggered, you can't hear the answer. I feel like there's been a number of people, but a lot of the time they can't hear. They're just waiting for their turn to speak, or it's hard for some people to like actually hear it, digest it, and then implement something if it applies to them or whether they come to learn or not. I know that there's been a handful of people that are like hella on board with learning, love that, love wherever you're at, but I guess I'm just saying, like, how do you get past that? Like, how do you... I
mean, you said it in a lot of what you just said, which is why are they attracting those kind of guys? It ain't about attracting those kind of guys. That is what is... Attraction's not a choice. That is what those women are attracted to. Social media has amplified the access to fuckboys. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that these men are fuckboys. They're doing what men who can do. Men do what they want. Boys do what they can. You see what I'm saying? So whether he's outrageously handsome or has crazy amounts of status, whether he can get into any club and skip any line or whatever, if he plays a sport, whatever the case may be, even if he isn't financially stable, if he's on the scene and everybody knows who the fuck he is, that is an attractive man to women. And the accountability is bitch, you picked him.
Why do you feel like women don't want to admit that? Because they'll say like, no.
Because that's the way they were raised. They've been lied to. They lie to themselves and they lie to each other. It's always the other person's fault. Because that is the superpower outside of making children. That is the biggest strength women have. Is their words and how to justify their poor choices. So it's not her fault that she fell for that guy and got played. It's his fault for playing her. Not taking any accountability that you picked someone that everyone else wants and you think that you deserve him all to yourself. You knew he had bitches when you met him. You knew he had bitches before you. And you knew there was going to be bitches during. But you twisted it to fit your narrative as I can change him. I'm different. He's going to be better for me.
But see, I don't know if they know that. I think that they're eating up the words of like, say that the man is saying you're the only one, but they're saying it to like 5 people. So women believe words, not actions. Because of like the fairy tale life.
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm listening to you.
Women believe words, not actions. And I've been that, and I can understand why. So if a man, you're saying like... That's what I'm talking about. That's the lie. Say that man... So no, the woman doesn't always know because they're lying to themselves. Like... He told me I'm the only one. Come to find out, he's telling 5 people the same thing.
But she knew beforehand. She already lied to herself. You knew you weren't the only one. Why would you be the only one? This is a man everyone wants. Why would you be the only one? Like, so here's the thing. We say the same goofy shit women say. Oh, I haven't had sex in 3 months. like full of shit. Somebody's always fucking somebody. You know what I mean? There's always somebody that you can go to get it. And you wouldn't even be interested. She wouldn't even be interested in that man if he was too available. Those are the DMs that don't get opened. You see what I'm saying? So that's where the lies come from, is they're justifying, they wanted it at the end of the fucking day. It's just like buying a car that you know you can't afford. You know what I mean? Like, I bet I can afford it if I, just like salesmen do it to people. Like if you cut back on your bag of chips here and this and that there, and how many times a week do you eat at Chipotle? Well, don't do that. And boom, you can make this $700 car payment, you know, and you justify it, knowing you can't do it, but you do it anyway. Now it's the dealership's fault and the salesman's fault for letting you take off in this car. But you knew you couldn't do it. So that's the reason and the bigger thing is that, again, that is what women are attracted to. Social media has amplified women to think that there's tons of it. So back in the day, you just take even our parents, for example, when a woman wanted to find a man, she had to go out. She had to be seen. She had to respond to men approaching her at the grocery store, at the gas station, at the coffee shop. She had to interact with the men at her work. You know what I mean? That was how she was going to meet, or in school if she did go to school. You know, those were the times and places she was going to meet men. And then you actually had to talk to them on the phone, and you couldn't talk to 25 people at once like you do in a text message, right? And she couldn't just post a picture and get tons of attention. So that's why you see sometimes older couples where the man looks like shit and she's beautiful. But that was what was available then. You see what I'm saying? And she actually stuck to her duty, and that man does for her, you know? And on top of that, when it comes to like what's the word I'm looking for? The whole provision aspect of it. Women don't just want the best man. They want the best man who can take them all over the country and all this other stuff. Like being a wife isn't the goal anymore. It's being a hot, cute, trendy, influencing wife with, I'll either have kids later, or I won the jackpot and met this man when I was 23 and he's 29 and has all his shit together. You know what I'm saying? But the likelihood of that happening isn't there. So, but these women can get flown out by dudes who can do it, and they think that they're dating these men. You know, they say things like that, like, oh, I dated such and such. No, you went on a couple dates because it's nothing to him, and you got fucked. But I know his wife. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't date him, and that's not the level of guy that you deserve. That's not the level of guy that will pick you, because that's why I sit there and say the man had to do all the work up front in order to get the woman in the first place. It's now your job to do all the work to get him to pick you. You have tons of options as a woman for men to sleep with you, but you don't have those same options for men who want to be with you. Well, I take that back. You have a lot of those options, but you don't want them. You're not attracted to them. They don't bring enough to the table. And because you want this Instagram life of pumpkin patches and beaches and Santorini, Greece and Cabo and all this other shit, you're not okay with the fireman. You're not okay with the manager of Lowe's. I mean, that's a $60,000 job. But you don't even respect that man. And he could pay majority of the bills. You could have a part-time job, if a job at all, depending on the level of what you actually want. But again, back to our parents, they didn't have access to see people on cruises, people doing this and that and this and that, and thinking that that's how normal people live. That's a very fucking small percentage of people, and the proof is in the pudding, because those people who live those lives have K's next to their followers. So, but there's less people with K's next to their followers than there are people with 200-300 followers of people that they've known throughout high school till now.
Or no social media.
Or no social media. You see what I'm saying? And that's the normal life, but that is not okay for a woman who is a 5, 6, 7, or 8 now. You know what I mean? Like that life isn't okay for her. And then the lying to each other and lying to themselves. Every woman thinks she's a fucking dime. And yeah, that's why this shit sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of social media is what fell off?
My hood keeps falling off.
Oh, I know a lot of social media is not accurately depicting what is happening in real life. Just with everything. I mean, I've been in the relationship where we posted our 5-year anniversary and literally we're doing completely garbage things to each other and we're not good, but it was like that upkeep. And I mean, that was shit like 12 years ago now.
And that's the manipulation tactics that women use because of the competitiveness with other women. Yeah. I want everyone to think that we're the happy-go-lucky, I'm the queen and all this other shit. And I mean, shit, you've even tried that. Like, why don't you ever post me? Because it's nobody's fucking business. My Instagram ain't got shit to do with us. You're happy, and that's all that needs.
I feel like that was earlier.
Sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it took me telling you that, no, like, what we got going on ain't got shit to do with everybody else watching us.
It's an interesting thing to see such social media because I know you and I both know people in real life with a K next to their followers or even an M, like millions of followers. And they could be completely different in real life or super chill or whatever, or like whatever they're portraying, it's like acting online. And like even the filters, like the things that you were telling me earlier, the things that you showed me earlier, like if you open up the Instagram app, there's already like a pre-filter on it, even without the next filter. Then you put a filter, then you swipe over and it's like filtered, unfiltered, unfiltered. And then you see these people in real life.
Like, damn, you don't look like that.
Like even seeing at the gym today that catfish is still a thing on MTV, you know, like, I mean, you and I have both met women on dating apps that like look nothing like their profile pictures. And it's tough. It's tough because if I feel like it says so much about what you're posting versus who you are in real life, because it's like, who am I actually getting to know? And then they post the picture of you with like this long ass caption and it's like, you never say any of that shit to my face, or like, right. What the fuck are you talking about? Or, you know, there's been people that just the security versus the insecurity levels of like whether they've had like work done on their face or their body, and then they say something to me and I'm like, why are we even comparing ourselves to each other? Like, why? Like, it's tough. I feel like there's definitely a new generation of energy that is, it feels like they're all just going to be alone for a long time.
I mean, that's where it's going. That's where it's headed. Like, because
they all don't need each other. They all don't want each other. They all just want fun and to post pictures.
Yeah, even the next generation, they're so socially awkward that they're just going to stop talking to each other, period. Like, human interaction is gone because all they do is spend time on their phones and computers playing games and whatnot. But, I mean, 40-year-old women making upwards of $80,000 and no children and no man, like, that's a rise in the antidepressant pills and anxiety pills, prescriptions, I'm sorry. And that's like the demographic of people in the country who are most unhappy, you know? But it's because of the silly shit that they just won't take. Like, if you want a man who is going to pick you and only you, pick a man that don't nobody else want. Because even women, with the whole competitiveness of my relationship looks great online, even though we fucking hate each other at the house. Yeah. Like, those same women are also, the single version of that woman is the one who's going to go fuck your man. Mm. You know what I mean? And as a man, it's so hard to come by sex, regardless of how handsome you are, that they're going to take it. And women just can't seem to understand that. Like, just cannot fathom it. They think that men are out here with these crazy body counts, and it's like, no, most of them aren't. because most of them aren't what you in particular are going to give yourself up for, right? But because like run down the list of the people who just let hit, they all have similar fucking traits. You know what I mean? Not just you, but any fucking woman out there, right? And most men don't look like that. Most men don't carry themselves that way. So most men aren't getting that. Even the ones who can get it still get turned down. Women have 25 unopened DMs by men. Men ain't got no unopened DMs by women. You know what I mean? And we're going to check it. We're going to see if you're worth talking about. Shit, at worst case scenario, we'll get some head out of it. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, the filters, all of that, it's just a big ass lie. It's a big ass.
So how do we eradicate that? Everyone tell the truth, or people wake up, or like. I mean,
people should tell the truth. That's how you should interact with anybody. Do
you believe that people should date for what they need and not for what they like?
Yeah, but
or is there a happy medium?
Yeah, it's a catch-22, especially dealing with women. Men are extremely simple. We're not nearly as picky as women. You know that when it comes to us trying to find women to join us.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I don't need 80% of the information you need.
Yeah.
Is she pretty? Is she putting out? That's what I need. Then I can figure out if I like her. I already got somebody, so I don't need to know all that shit up front. I don't need that connection. I'll build that connection, right?
So that's what I'm saying. So you should date for what you need and not just what you like.
But that's how men do it.
Because if you could build a connection, you could build a connection with anybody if those things are on the table from the jump.
But that's not how women look at dating. You need to be put together from the beginning for a woman to consider you. So, and that's what she's saying. But then she'll also act on something that's completely different than that. Because there's been women...
for sure. I guess I'm just saying, like, left to our own demise, women have changed the game. And there are some who are like, I never want to get married. I never want to have kids. I want to focus on my career. I want to have, animals or like be a fur mom, and like more power to them. I have nothing, like people are going to do whatever they're going to do to be happy. What I'm saying is the people who do want children, the people, the women who, the ice always makes me feel like someone's breaking in.
I thought you were moving your chair.
No, the women who do want dating and a family, it used to be like, run it by my dad. Like, the man used to go to the father, ask for permission, or, like that's how it had to be done, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I guess I could understand why there are like arranged marriages, because the connection is built over time. However, this is who I have chosen for you because this is the transaction. And I know, especially being in the Buddhist community, I knew so many people who were in arranged marriages, and and
the divorce rate on that is like 2%.
Yeah. And it's very like culturally sound, and it's also very successful. Because I've seen the love that they've created. I've seen the families that they've created and like the things that they've passed on to their children. However, families aren't passing down anything besides trauma, like 90% of the time in America.
Yeah, I mean, that Hallmark situation is going to be acquired more if you find somebody who checks 80% of those boxes and you can work around the other shit. Because then you guys are both doing work on how to build each other. You know what I mean? She's working on what she's willing to accept. He's working on what he's willing to accept. They're going to be able to have conversation and compromise. But the thing is there's just too much access to women, to men, too. I mean, literally social media fucked everything up.
So everyone should get off social media?
I mean, yeah, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because it also connects you. It's a gift and a curse. What it did was it really ruined people's view of the world. That's why you got women walking around here looking built like ants, because that's what's getting double tapped. Those are the ones with the K's and the M's next to their name, is these fake body bitches who are showing a bunch of skin. So women are out here buying ass and titties, and they say it's for them, the more lie to themselves, but it's for the attention that they want from a particular male who can do the things that they want. And
yeah, media in general, I mean, it used to be like the skinny Victoria's Secret model.
well, that's because the gay dudes were in the control of the fashion industry.
So there was a lot of like eating
but
disorder.
even that
and
was
then
back
now
then.
it's
Yeah.
the opposite, because
Well, because that's what's... So here's the thing. There's women that men want to fuck but will never take serious. And then there's women that they want to take serious.
I think that's where a lot of people that I've talked to, a lot of women are like, you know, say that they don't wear a lot of makeup. And they're like, well, all my man likes on Instagram is women with makeup. Like, oh, well, it doesn't look like she's wearing a lot. And it's like, you know, men don't know the difference. However, it's like, you know, say it's like the lashes, the lips done, the BBL, whatever. That's a lot of what the man is liking. And so women equate that to that's what they like and that's what they
That's what I was just trying to
want.
explain. That's not the case. That's what I want to fuck. And mind you, we're not looking at how well you're blended. You know what I mean? Your eyeshadow, your mascara, your lashes. We're not looking at none of that shit. What drew our attention to us was your titties were out. What drew our attention was your ass was out, or you're shaking it. You know what I mean? That's what we like, because our mind is in a sexual gutter majority of the time. But do I want to... I'll show that woman off for a little bit, but I'm never going to take her serious, because she's going to be a headache. She's going to be an absolute headache. Not necessarily based on her as a person, but the simple fact is that everywhere I go, someone's going to say something disrespectful. And I'm going to have to deal with that.
It's wild. It's
And then on top of that, she will always have the attention and access to men who are greater than me. There's always going to be somebody bigger and better, and there's always going to be somebody that can pull her attention away from me. You know what I mean? So that's why you see, I mean, we see it all the time when you see the it guy, and his woman is, well, she's pretty. You know what I mean? But she's not the hottest chick in the game. You know what I mean? The only time you see something like that is like a Jay-Z and Beyonce, but Jay-Z's not the physically it guy. He's the him guy.
Financially.
You know what I mean? Can you grab me one of those drinks?
The Riz.
But yeah, I mean, social media is a shit show, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to get off of it. It doesn't seem like that's the way it's going to go. But pay more attention to it.
With you having this podcast, because I was just reading in my book too, like, if the goal is just ego, like if the goal in anything is just, because you're talking about high value men. So that's like money, provision, like being able to provide, whatever, right? But if it's only ego based, which is like, what am I getting out of it? Whether it be the mansion, whether it be the sex, whether it be the clout or the women, like it's only going to take you so far, right? But if you're doing it for like a purpose, which I feel like you are, there's the purpose of like, how many people can I impact? Like, how many people can I help with perspective and like your experience? Or
are you talking about the high value man or the podcast?
The podcast and high value men. Like, you're just, I mean, I know that there's things going on behind the scenes that you're working on to be able to help people. And so if that is the case,
I need that cord over there.
which one?
One of these USB cords.
This one?
That's fine. Okay. Keep talking. Sorry about that. The thing was about to die.
No,
Finish what you were saying.
what I was saying was, I mean, if you look around, this looks very professional. This looks very, like, the investment is there, like, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually. It seems as though you take this very serious, you do your research, you have a lot to say. And so moving forward, especially already being on season 2, it's like my question, especially as a viewer, but also being on it, is like, what is the overall goal for your goal of impact? Like, what is it that, because I know that there's things that you want to put together to help more people, help both men and women, because that's what a lot of people need. They need perspective. They need help with dating. Everyone says it's trash. From high school to 45, everyone's saying it's trash, and no one is understanding each other. But I think that a lot of people are lying to themselves, or men are becoming more feminine, women are becoming more masculine. There's like not a lot of meetings of the minds. So my question is, like, what is the goal of this podcast?
The goal of this podcast is to help men become better versions of themselves, from fitness to finances to intelligence to status, being interesting, being funny, they're talking to women, being an overall better man, so you don't have to deal with the shit that women have become based on social media. But let me not absolve men. Men have become soft, weak, lazy as fuck, undriven, and I understand that. Like, women get to say shit like, I deserve this kind of man, I deserve faithfulness, I deserve all of these things, without putting in any fucking work. Which would be like the men that are available at the moment saying, hey, I get to play video games, watch corn, and eat Cheetos all damn day and never work out, and I deserve a bad bitch too. You know, but that sounds fucking ridiculous. It also would sound fucking ridiculous for a man to say, I'm an independent ass nigga. I got my own house, my own car. I pay my own bills. I cook my own food. I don't need a woman for nothing. Like, that sounds fucking retarded. But men can't and don't go around saying they're independent. That's just an adult. But women hold on to that I'm an independent woman shit, which is simply saying I'm independent of a man. I don't need a man for anything, which is fair. You don't, but good. I mean, kudos to you for being an adult. You know, you also chose this shit. You wanted to be a worker, a go-getter. And then you get out there and realize, like, oh shit, this is hard, shit's expensive, and I hate it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you don't have to do that, because men are built to serve. Men are even built to submit. We don't look at submission as a negative word the same way women do. Men submit to their coaches, their captains of their teams, and men in the service submit to their commander.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're serving our family. We're serving our woman. There's not a goddamn man in the world that's getting up and getting grease all over his hands, sitting under a fucking car fixing those bitches all day, or picking up trash all damn day, or reporting to an injury, or somebody who fell down the stairs in a fire truck, breathing in smoke, or risking his life as a police officer, or lugging fucking deliveries around all day to come back and oppress this woman. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're doing it to give you shit. That's one of the manliest feelings you can ever fucking have, is handing a woman money. Here's money that I wasn't going to spend.
A resource.
Yeah, this is for you. Go do whatever you fucking want for it. But now women take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Like, pay me for my attention. Pay me for this. And it's like, prostitution is just the thing now. You know what I mean? You got the OnlyFans girls. You've got girls actually just selling it. And at the end of the fucking day, even the sweetest, simplest girl expects you to pay for the fucking date, because you're not attracted to the man if he says we're going Dutch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he has to do this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before he could potentially get some sex, for most guys, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, he's paying, and it's like, what does he get out of it? If 7 dates go by, he's paid, and on an average, just 120 per date. What's 7 times 120? Come on, honors math.
$840.
Okay, so $840 in, and he didn't get any fucking sex, and then you decide you don't want him anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm not interested. He's boring. He's,
I feel like it's on both sides of the spectrum because there's been women who, like, it's hard for me to even pay for anything because they're always like, no, like, because they feel like they don't want to, like, owe anyone anything.
What do you mean?
Like, buying them coffee when I'm with them in person, and they'll, like, Apple Pay me. And then I'm like, you didn't have to do that. And they're like, no, but I did. And so I feel like a lot of women are, like, in their masculine to where they go Dutch or they'll, like, oh, I'll cash app you later. I mean, you could see people's cash apps and Venmos, like, and you see a lot of women paying men, and it'll say, like, sushi or, like, coffee. And I think that it's, like, both sides where some women expect that and they're just trying to get free meals. I know women who do say, I'm going to go on a date with this man. I'm not interested in him, but I know that he has money and I want him to take me somewhere nice and I want to get dressed up and, like,
Women
so
go on
that's
free
what I'm
dates
saying.
all the fucking time. Go get
That's
free
what I'm
meals all the
saying
time.
with this
Haram!
with this podcast, because especially I feel like you want to reach the masses who want to hear this or, like, need to hear this. So to have, like, tangible takeaways where men are like, okay, give me 3 things I need to work on, or women who are like, well, how do I even start? Like, where do I start? Because they can hear all this and be like, that fucked me up because it's true, but then what do I do? Just like reading the 4 Agreements for the first time. It's like, I've just been living a complete fucking lie. Like, I've just been doing things quote unquote wrong. And so if people are going to be happy individually and together in relationships, taking things away from this and not just taking away, like, I was reactive and, the people that come on here and can't hear you past submit, and then all of a sudden, like, it just gets crazy in their mind. Like, that's my question, because make it make sense. And having this platform, and as you grow, I mean, there are going to be men and women who need provision and they need perspective and they need you to provide something beyond this podcast. Especially, I mean, you're a barber. People call you a hairapist. You hear men all the time. You hear women all the time. You're a Scorpio. People get deep with you. They just fucking vent or tell you shit that they've never told anyone. And you're like, that's a huge fucking responsibility. You just told me a bunch of shit that you've never told anyone. But, like, being in that position to give advice or to help people, and I mean, I'm a spiritual life coach, so I hear it from a lot of women, you hear it from a lot of men. There's a lot of people who need help. So what is season 2 entailing? What is the goal here? What is coming that people can look forward to pick your mind or be able to become the high value man or the feminine submissive woman?
I don't even think men need to become high value men, because everybody can't be a high value man. They do need to become better.
Yeah.
The 3 things that I would tell any man to make his dating situation and his relationship stronger and easier to maneuver through is get your ass in shape, do something hard, because you cannot do something hard and not feel great afterwards. Everything that is fun while you're doing it, drinking, smoking, eating, playing video games, all that shit, you feel like shit afterwards. You stayed up too late, you didn't get adequate sleep, you're hungover, you're dragging, your body takes days to recover. It was fun as shit while you were doing it, but you feel like shit afterwards. Mm-hmm. But you go get your ass in that gym and lift some shit, it's hard during it. However, afterwards, you feel great. So running, lifting, reading, buckling down and setting 2 hours aside to get some side hustle built or anything that can make you more money. Those are the things that you need to focus on. Fitness, finances, and work on being interesting. Find something that can make you stand out when speaking to a woman, whether that's humor, learn some type of trick or something that will intrigue her mind, whether it's study body language, learn a magic trick or two. You know what I mean?
Become a magician.
Yeah, I mean, for real. I mean, it's something that makes you more appealing
Have
than
more
the
substance.
other people. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Hey, cutie, what's going on?" You know what I mean? Like, let me
Yeah.
buy you a drink, all this other stuff. But it's like, are you fucking interesting? Because everybody has said the same thing to her
Yeah.
since she's been there. You know what I mean? Shit, that's what the dude pulled on the move on the show we were watching. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so it went from I'm waiting for my boyfriend to if you can do such and such, then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So become interesting, get in shape, and
Get your money right.
find something that can make you some more money. You don't have to make six figures. Not everybody can. Only 15% of the country does. But you can provide, I mean, shit, the economy is trash right now, but you can provide for a family with a normal lifestyle on $75,000.
What are the books that helped you with your money mindset or to become more financially ahead?
Shit, we should put them on the table. But
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich. Everybody needs to read Think and Grow Rich. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Reading one right now called .com Secrets. What else?
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind and The Secret. If you start learning about the law of attraction, you'll understand that you can create this world the way you want it to be. Like, you can have and do whatever you want, but it's going to take work. If it didn't take work, everyone would do it, and it wouldn't have any value. That's the thing. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes people stumble onto some viral shit. Oh, the live on Instagram went away. But sometimes people stumble onto some viral shit and get big and explode and all that other junk. But to keep it up is work. Think about all the people who got hella big for, months at a time, started traveling around the country and then fell all the way the fuck off. You had the Welvin dude, or you had the that tastes good.
Oh, see, that's what I was saying. He's still doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still the same thing. And I'm like, I could not imagine. I don't know if it's because I'm a Gemini, but like if something made me viral, I would be like, absolutely the fuck not. Like, I'm not going to like commit to I have to talk like that every single time or like whatever, which is why I was commending you. Like, you've given yourself permission to evolve with the podcast as you've been getting your footing and like, okay, what doesn't serve me today, what does serve me today might not serve me tomorrow. But you're still going to go in the direction of sharing and helping.
Oh, it's still on the same shit of Make It Make Sense.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. You are, but it started as Married, Poly, Single. You did season 1, and you're on to season 2. It's not just like, oh, well, I couldn't find the same.
But I said
person
the
to
same.
come.
The only reason I haven't switched up,
That's what I'm saying.
everything else around it is switched up.
Yeah.
I was going to do this no matter what. I invested in it. I've got to use it. I'm going to put this out there. And I've realized this is just a big topic, and it's a wide topic because there's so many intricacies when it comes to male and female dynamics and relationships in general as a whole.
Yeah.
So, but going back to what I was saying is there's a lot of people that fall off, are not as popular as they once were,
Yeah.
aren't making the same money as they once were.
Right. Oh, yeah, his
based
views
on-
are definitely not what they were.
Yeah. So, because it's hard work,
Yeah.
and then there's the people who got that organic build because and it's all the same shit. Tony Robbins hasn't switched up what he's been doing from the beginning. He's a motivational speaker. He says a lot of the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the reasons why I stopped the first podcast that I put together is I was like, oh, well, how do I keep it fresh?
Yeah.
Fuck fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be fresh. It needs to be, because that's how people learn is reiteration, repeating it. You don't pick something up until 16 times of hearing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Probably even more now that
attention
everyone-
spans are so fucking short.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, radio shows would talk about the same shit. Sports Center talks about the same shit. If you're interested in this because of whatever reason, then I appreciate you. But Yeah, so you said three things that I would do to help men is that. Wow, that sounds a lot better. Um, what else would I do for women? I would tell women to be more realistic on what's available to them. That is number one. Is I don't want to say lower your expectations, but be more realistic to what is available to you long term, because you're not being asked for as much and in return from the man that you want that you're demanding of him. So be more realistic and lighten the fuck up. Like, all he's looking for from you is to be fit, feminine, friendly, and don't embarrass him and don't be a whore. But most women today have already been whores. So men are working 10 times harder to get a woman who's 10 times worse than their grandma was. You know what I mean?
I feel like lighten the fuck up, like, means, like, to me would be, like, heal from your trauma because you're projecting what you used to attract onto the men that you're going want
lighten
to
the fuck up means stop expecting everything from somebody when women love to say, I'm not going to ask for something I can't provide on my own. I hear that all the time. I won't ask for something that I can't do on my own. Well, can you be peaceful on your fucking own? Yeah. That's what I mean by lighten up. Stop making everything a fucking problem.
Yeah.
It's not always about you.
I think something that helped me to flip my perspective, just in general from life, because life can get really overwhelming. But it's not about what you can get out of this life. It's what you can give, like with your relationships, with your children, like in the home, because I don't know, you don't hear men complaining as much as you hear women complaining about their daily, like, get up, go to work, feed the children, clean the dishes. It's like people are like ready to like off themselves because they have 4 loads of laundry to fold. And so there's been all these like mind tricks to like help people or help women to realize it's what you get to do, not what you have to do, but what you get to do, and flipping that. Just like you were saying, like men are getting up, getting their hands dirty, going to work, like providing, handing them money. I mean, hopefully providing resources for their family or whatever position each man or woman are in. But like you're saying, I feel like a lot of women are more like, well, what are you going to give me? Instead of like, what can I give this person?
Yeah, and that's the bigger problem is that mindset of what are you going to give me? And it's like, I already gave you everything. That's why you're here. You got what you wanted. When do I get what I want?
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, you hear about and we know people in sexless relationships and why it's a headache to give their man some sex. And it's like, if you're not going to fuck him, somebody else is going to. And again, that's all he's looking for.
Yeah.
He's already handling his business. Like, that's where he gets his validation from. And if you're not going to give it to him, then what the fuck is he getting out of it? That's the thing. It's like you slept with 35 fucking dudes. You make an average wage, but you expect for a man who's can tell you to quit your job to pick you and only you? For what? For what? Why? How is he the winner there? So that's why women need to understand that the men that you're attracted to, the men that you want, come with other women. You want a Ferrari, you're gonna have to pay for Ferrari shit. Mm-hmm. Okay? Those oil changes aren't cheap. If you wreck into somebody and you can't cover the insurance or whatever, that's not cheap. Repairs aren't cheap. And they break down and you're going to have to pay for whatever the fuck happens to that car. That's what comes with it. You buy an expensive house. Electric bills aren't cheap because you've got 7,000 square feet. There's multiple air conditioning units, a pool that takes tons of fucking maintenance that you rarely get in. You know what I mean? You want all this shit, but don't understand the work that takes to maintain it.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you want a man that other women want that can, He takes some maintaining. And guess what? You cannot sexually satisfy that man by yourself. So stop worrying about other bitches. And I mean, there's proof in the pudding. Women don't really give a fuck about it because when a man's income reaches 2,000, 200,000 plus, divorce rates plummet. However, for that same man, his likelihood to cheat increases 10 times. So women don't give a fuck about other women if you're handling your damn business. So stop acting like you do. Don't even fucking worry about it, or accept it and accept other women coming into the relationship, because if he can, he will. Nick Cannon can't have all those fucking kids if Nick Cannon wasn't Nick Cannon. Does that make sense? He's an attractive man with a lot of money. That's why 10 other women were like, yeah, I'll give you a fucking kid too, because the child support on something like that, like, do you have any idea when you're worth millions of dollars how much women are getting in child support? Like $30,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 a month.
Sheesh.
A month. What's 30 times fucking 12?
48. I don't know. 36.
It's 360 grand.
A year.
A year. Like that, only like 4% of the fucking country makes that kind of money.
Yeah.
And you're making it because you got a kid. So don't act like it matters, because it doesn't fucking matter. So I don't know. That's all I have to say.
If I had some advice for women, because it always probably sounds better when it's a woman telling a woman instead of a man. They're like, how's a man gonna tell me how to be a woman?
Why? Women love to tell men how to be men.
You know, women just we have some trinkets loose up here, okay? Because I will admit it, okay? Like we take turns, we vent to each other, we go through some shit, and then we help each other when we're on the up and up. But my advice to women would be to take care of yourself, especially like physically, like take care of your body, go to the gym, fitness. Because if you don't focus on your wellness, you will have to focus on your illness. And also, men are physical beings. And I mean, as a bisexual woman, I'm also like, I'm interested in women who take care of themselves. Because if you don't take care of yourself, that tells me a lot. Like, okay, well, I can't take care of you. Like, you're not setting a standard here for how you want to be taken care of, because you obviously don't care. Like, and I don't think women want to hear that. Women are like, no, I can be, you know, the hot Cheeto girl with, like, even if I've gained 90 pounds.
That's because men who look like something and who have some shit have talked to them, so they don't fucking care. And that's why women say silly shit like, I like the dad bod. No, they fucking don't. They don't like the dad bod. No one is looking at Nikola Jokic with his shirt off going, woo! No one's looking at Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell with their shirt off going, woo! But as soon as Vin Diesel or The Rock take their shirt off in the fucking movie theater, the whole crowd screams. You know what I mean? Like, you're not attracted to it. You like your man's dad bod because you're in love with him. You know what I mean? Or because you wouldn't like that same body your man has on another man.
Yeah.
So
or it's like, it gets them off the hook. They're like, I can be whatever.
Yeah, they don't have to, the accountability there, they don't have to work hard if you're not working hard. But if you got a man who's in tip-top shape, you better do it. Otherwise, you know other women are going to be sitting there wanting that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I had gotten out of shape and I gained a bunch of weight and I had a hypothyroid. I mean, it doesn't feel good. And I'm sure if that were to happen now, there's a lot of social media presence that's like, that's okay, girl. And it's like, I need someone to be like, that's not okay, girl.
Yeah, that's the lies that women tell each other. Lizzo's beautiful. Then tell her she looks like Lizzo and it's a fucking problem. You know what I'm saying?
But something I would tell women, especially because I do date women and talk to women, is like, take care of yourself, like physically. Because who else is going to do it for you, girl? Like, and especially whoever you're with, like, physically, you want to be appealing to, you know, said person who's interested in you. And even I would definitely recommend going filter free. Like, I was using filters for a little while, and it was, you know, if you're like, you didn't put on makeup that day, you wake up, you're tired, whatever, you have like a blemish, I have my little pimple patch. It's like empowering to like love your skin again, because it's like we have these filters and we're like 3 filters deep and we're like, post this picture and we're like, fuck yeah, 500 likes, you know, 20 of them have verified, whatever. And then it like boosts this ego thing in your head.
Sensational.
Where you're like, oh, well, this guy who's trying to take me to Cheesecake Factory isn't shit. And like, even the women I'm talking to now, I'm like, what? Like, because the women that I'm talking to are like, shit, I would love to go to Cheesecake Factory. And like, that's the type of woman I'm like, hell yeah, we could just go to coffee, we could do something chill. But yeah, definitely take care of your body. I definitely recommend going filter free, falling in love with your mind, your body, your spirit again. Because if you don't love it, what? Like, you want a man to love every part of you, but you don't like nothing about yourself, so you...
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Just like you can fix your nose if you say so. You could buy all the makeup the man could make. You know that song?
Nope, never heard it.
It's TLC.
Didn't get that deep in the album.
It's called Unpretty. But anyways, it's a girl about to get her
I've heard that
boobs
song.
done in the fucking... in the video, and then I don't think she ends up going through with it, but it's like all this like surgery and all this stuff that you're trying to do. It's like, fall in love with yourself for sure. And then also the books that I have read, or the book that I'm on audiobook, but the next one that I'm going to read, there is...
Yeah, tell them about that book, because that book sounds fucking awesome.
The book that I was recommended by my mentor, this is actually her hoodie. It's her It Was Worth It. One of her poems, poem titles. It's called Keys to the Kingdom. And
Keys to the Kingdom?
Keys to the Kingdom, yeah,
Sounded
by
like
Allison.
you said Cues to the Kingdom.
My bad. Keys to the Kingdom by Allison A. Armstrong. And it's a fictional book, but it is about women and how they should learn men. And so all these women who are born into this family, each of them get the middle name Keys. And the grandma, you know, passes it on to the mom passes it on to the daughter. And it's all of this knowledge about men, how to treat men, how to get to know them, because they are so vastly different from women. And I mean, even shit, I was like 1 or 2 chapters in and I was like, holy shit. Like if every woman read this, I feel like the world would be so much better off. So,
Tell them about it.
Yeah, but the whole premise of this book is that this grandma passed it on to her daughter, but the mom doesn't want to pass it on to her daughter, especially because just societal times, like, feels like she's not going to do anything with this information. And with the knowledge that you pass on, it's like, okay, I can tell you all of this information, but you can't hold it against men. And I think that's a lot of what women do, is that we take like the most vulnerable shit from them and we're like, yeah, be emotionally intelligent with me. And then they cry and they're like, you're a fucking pussy. You know, like, women just hit below the belt. And that's like not allowed once you get these keys to the kingdom. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in that book that is just how to understand your man and how to be more happy with a man and how to use this information to be more of a woman and not be so upset and not be so like, we're equal. And so the next book is called, it's like the next one from the same author, is called The Queen's Code. And I went to go look it up on Amazon because I'm like, cool, I'll just buy the next one. It's like $50. So if you want to get the trilogy, it's 3 books, it's like $120 for all 3. I'm like, damn, this must be some pertinent information that all of us women should be fucking reading. But yeah, and work on your physical health, work on your body, work on your mind, read those books, like work on the energy behind it, and also like heal. Like, don't use your past against the next man, because like he doesn't deserve that shit. And if you don't want to keep things reoccurring, like what you focus on expands. So if you're only focusing on what someone did to you in the past or how men ain't shit, it's exactly what you're gonna call into existence.
Yeah, and if she does make you suffer from the last man's mistakes.
Now fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Now fuck that.
But
I think that's good.
yeah, it's a good place to end.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, follow, subscribe, share.
Sponsor.
Yeah, sponsor. We got a sponsor coming soon, and that's going to be lit. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week and get some more guests on here and have some more fun. Back to the shenanigans. But we are out of here.